So, you wanna go first?
You can go first.
Okay. With my first win con, just gotta see something quick. Okay, my first win con is Reinhard, with his mere presence, basically turns lands into basically an Anerjack. Yes, I know it sounds weird. Into Anerjack, which basically makes him a part of Reinhardt himself.
Oh, what was that?
Essentially, what I said is that Reinhardt turns lands into an Enerjack. I'm gonna call that Enerjack, which essentially just makes whoever Reinhardt is fighting a part of Reinhardt's own army.
Oh, so is it like some type of transmutation ability or something?
Let me see. Just looking through scans. Okay. All right. Okay, so it was actually his law that turns everyone into an Enerjack, which makes them a part of his army. So in a way, it's kind of like law manipulation.
Oh, it's law manip.
Yeah.
Oh, did we even pick which post we were gonna be putting scans in?
No, we didn't.
I was gonna put in like scan 69.
You can post there. Yeah, you can post there if you want.
Oh, I posted in scan 69.
Okay. So what are you saying with these scans?
Oh, let me. All right, in the boss fight with like the Devourer, like the Devourer pretty much states that his desire to create a clockwork universe populated by mindless automatons, perfectly demonstristic without random variables and only the very laws of nature obeyed without question, pretty much cannot exist if said the players pretty much act freely. And their very conscious beings are pretty much that of a disease that spreads and consumes through everything it touches, introducing uncertainties into its system, and pretty much following a butterfly effect of chaos and unreason, pretty much not obeying like any rules and respecting no laws. So Lance pretty much just consciously by existing, thing pretty much would be completely and utterly resistant to like established laws.
Okay, so to counter that, Reinhardt's law is irreversible. I was gonna scan. Essentially, what's going on here with the scan I sent is that Rhea is basically trying to save her. Is basically trying to like save her friends from Reinhardt's law. And basically, but it doesn't work because his law is irreversible, and basically trying to change it is gonna backfire. Pat, cut out for a moment. Essentially, what I'm saying is, essentially, his law is irreversible, and that trying to change it or trying to resist it is not going to backfire at you, or like being dragged into a whirlpool of death. Hello?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Are you gonna refute it?
I'm thinking it.
Okay. Do you want to like repeat what I said?
Yeah.
Okay. So essentially, what I said is that Reinhardt's law is irreversible. It can't be resisted because when Rhea tried, like, oh, sorry, my mother just came in. Okay, so essentially, what I'm saying is Reinhardt's law is irreversible. It cannot be resisted. Rhea tried resisting it, like trying to save her friends from Reinhardt's law, but it backfired. It like if trying to resist Reinhardt's law will drag you into a whirlpool of dead. But the reason Rhea wasn't like sent there was because Rhea was Reinhard's daughter. I'm here. I'm just waiting for Sea Justice to refute.
I'm still here.
Um.
No, I had to really dig around for like the quote.
Okay. So So can you explain what the scan means?
This was like it's pretty much in like the same boss battle, but it's like I had to specifically grab this quote from when he was at like 16% health, where he pretty much quote unquote, "Why won't you let me delete you? Why do you exploit the very laws I have created?" Pretty much in that context, like pretty much the very laws he's pretty much created within like the EVF universe are essentially the very game mechanics.
Okay, but the scan I posted is that Reinhardt's law is irreversible and cannot be resisted. So, how is this gonna help?
That's the thing. They're technically exploiting it, but not inherently resisting it. They're technically just using the laws, but not inherently just outright like negating the game mechanic.
Yeah, but Reinhardt's law is irreversible. And how is gonna be exploiting the law gonna help?
Oh, I was looking for that scan you were mentioning, like the law that was like irreversible.
Yeah?
Oh, I was mostly looking at like the stigma of like destructive law and of love imprinted in her very blood, sought to devour all part. Like,
Yeah?
was that like in particular like the exact law that was like irreversible? I'm just asking like what specific law is that law? But like Reinhard has that's like irreversible in that part.
Okay, Reinhardt's law is let me check. Okay, so his law is
Oh man, you were really cutting out.
did you hear me?
Nah man, you were out like for like a good 3 seconds.
Oh, essentially, what I said is Reinhardt's law is basically love, and his love is destruction. So basically, his law is destruction, destruction that is irreversible. Did you hear that?
Oh,
You didn't?
so like, so you're saying like destruction is love, or was that like?
Okay. Here's how Reinhardt law goes: is that Reinhardt wants to embrace everything until it explodes. So essentially, his law is love equals destruction. So in a way, it's basically just destruction with love.
So inherently, he would have to have like some type of love towards you for like said destruction.
What?
It's just, could you like re-explain like the law again?
Okay, so Reinhardt's law is basically destruction. Let's just go with that. It's destruction. Since it is quite confusing, even to me.
Oh, so his law is destruction.
In simple terms, yeah. You send a link.
Oh yeah, I was pretty much gonna send like this is say like a counter.
What's the counter?
Still thinking it. Pretty much like lovable status. Pretty much just make it that you're not really able to actually target me.
But Reinhard doesn't even have to target Lance because it's practically if you're near Reinhard, you're already affected by his law. Like just being near Reinhard is practically just basically being near Reinhard affects you already. Like, he doesn't have to target you or anything. Just being near him is gonna make you a part of that law.
But like I already mentioned before, like of like the Devourer statements that like technically all of the laws that he made are technically all the game mechanics, meaning game mechanics including status effects are also laws.
Okay, yeah, but Reinhardt's law is irreversible.
Well, that's the thing. Irreversible doesn't inherently mean it's unrewritable. To say like an exploit in the law that technically still follows within the law, but not inherently changing it.
Can you explain that better?
Even though I'm still in your laws, I can still add new laws, but don't contradict your laws.
Well, to that, his Reinhardt's law is practically wait, see if I can find it. Wait, essentially trying to find it. Right. Once you're like a part of Reinhardt's law, you're dead already. So just trying to find it. I sent a scan. Where like once you're a part of his law, you're practically dead. Like the parts of the Longinus Direction Order, like all of them are like dead because they're a part of his law. And they can also impose laws which are inferior to his, and his law like reigns supreme. Because even if you can impose laws, and his Reinhardt's law is always going to be the supreme one. Are you there?
I'm still here.
You heard what I said, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, the scan and the link you posted.
Essentially, in this scan, like the first one, let me think it out. Let me think out. Essentially, like the Devourer, like deletes the Earth, and pretty much like also says like it's done. Your home world is gone forever. Fade away along with it into the endless scrap heap of the void. Disintegrate before me, bite, bite, bite. And like the players are pretty much still here. and like in the battle, they pretty much get like slapped with like this new status effect that actually can't be removed or dispelled, called the delete status.
Okay, and how does that, like, have to do with Reinhardt's law and anything?
I'm still not done yet. Still not done yet.
Okay. Sorry for interrupting you.
Mostly because this delete status effect is technically unresistible and unremovable, unlike, say, like any other status effect, including like what was that other one? Including other status effects like Doom and Insta Death. And like delete status pretty much is like superimposed like above those status effects, because unlike the other ones, there's technically like no percentage status of like resistance, nor is it removable via bless or dispel. And the players are still able to fight, despite having these laws inbound on them. So what I'm saying is that Lance is still going to be able to fight Reinhard despite these laws being inbound on him.
So what you're saying is, even if he's, like, dead, he can still fight, right?
Yes.
And he can also, like, resist being a part of Reinhardt's army.
Yeah, he can still keep fighting and pretty much still keep fighting with imposed laws slapped onto him.
Okay. So, yeah, okay, so, do you want to move on to the next point, since I basically don't have nothing to add anymore?
Yeah, we can move on from this point.
Okay. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay, so, my next point is, plot slash narrative erasure. Essentially, how this goes is, Machina has this Deus Ex Machina fist, which basically can end all stories. It can end all stories, basically, no matter, it negates durability, basically, no matter what defense you have, it will negate it, and it basically, like, will delete your narrative out of existence. Let me just find it. I'm just trying to find it. Okay, so let me just show a scan. There's more. Let me just find it. I'm just still trying to find the scan. What I also want to add is that Magna's fist, Reinhardt can, Magna's ability, like his fist, he can engulf his golden lance. And his golden lance, basically, it basically ignores all the laws. I'm trying to find it.
Excuse me.
It's okay. See if I can find it. Okay, can't find the scans exactly, but essentially, Reinhardt can essentially engulf his golden Longinus with Machina's fist, which can, like, erase narratives, basically erase concepts as well. Basically, trying to defend it is meaningless, and trying to and his golden lance can also, like, and trying to dodge the golden lance is impossible, since it basically ignores the concept of speed itself, and basically the lance also ignores any laws that are on the physical world. So that's my second point.
Right.
Oh, found a scan.
Alright, my counter to this, in like the first scan, the Devourer pretty much like says, I see you don't remember your previous adventures. Akron was a powerful foe, wasn't he? And Godcat did not serve my purpose, so I gave them a lesser roles in this iteration. In the end, I'll always be here to reset the world. Essentially, like Godcat and Akron are literally bosses from like the previous games, and like the Devourer pretty much already references that he's pretty much like changed their entire roles within like the entire narrative of EBF, and even in like the higher and like most of the quotes, you are not solely to blame for such chaos. Someone is toying with my simulations, an outside influence from another dimension. This guardian of yours, an abomination, a phantom that torments me, a player of sick games. Can you even trust them? This is at him at like 65 HP. And to the next quote, like, I cannot harm your guardian, but I can block their progress in this world. Destroying you would leave them with no avatars in this universe. I'll defeat you over and over until they tire of this pointless game. And that's at him at like 51 HP. Next quote, this is the 5th time I've ran this simulation. Each time you've interfered and corrupted the balance. Do you not tire of being a nuisance? Essentially, he has, in this context, has straight up destroyed like the entire party team before. Essentially, we destroyed them, deleting them practically at the narrative, but due to the player's influence and then pretty much being a sick player of games, as long as the player pretty much keeps playing, the player outside the EBF universe keeps playing, the players in the game still exist. Hold on. Did I cut out? Sheesh. I gotta check.
No, you didn't cut out. You didn't cut out.
Sorry. It's just the long pause of silence.
Okay, so essentially, so this is basically the player, like, protecting lands and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Well, to that, Mercury's basically protects Ren and his group against Machina. And basically, eventually, if they're, like, against...
Hold on, I got a call.
Oh, okay.
This debate was brought to you by the Nomadic. Did you used to be an apprentice? Well, how about you become a Nomadic? Try Nomadic. It's buy one, get one free today. Type in 100.55 Nomadic right now, and you'll become a Nomadic and advance yourself from an apprentice.
I'm gonna shoot you.
Okay. So... essentially, what I was saying is that Mercury through like protects Ren, because say if Ren was essentially being erased from the story, Mercury's like protects Ren from stuff like that. Stuff like that, and Machina's like, I'm basically my fist is still going to kill you even under Mercury's protection. Like Mercury's protects Ren from basically plot manipulators, and Machina's like that protection isn't stopping me from killing you with my fist.
Well, Yeah, that would be useful, but the thing is, with the player, the characters are pretty much already completely gone on, and the game's already been reset.
How does that help? Also, want to mention is that Mercury's actually no wait let me just find.
It's just the thing is, I'm trying to elaborate here is that, like, the player's data essentially in that reset is practically all gone. Like, there's pretty much like nothing left. Like, no narrative, no data, essentially, really no nothing. But the player is still able, continue on, and within like the fifth iteration, even after, say, like, you suddenly like get a game over, you still retain all that progress. So essentially, like, fifth iteration, like, post deletion Lance would essentially have like a higher level of resistance to it after being like completely erased from it so many times from like the previous iterations of the simulation. So inherently, you wouldn't be able to really permanently put him down, and he would eventually keep coming back, but eventually gaining more and more resistance from it. Whew. Disconnection check. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh boy.
Okay.
Oh, I thought I was actually disconnected.
Okay, so uh, anything with a history practically has a color. Color is a fit. Color basically gives plot manipulation to basically normal people. It basically gives them plot like manipulation immunity, even though they're not aware of it. Essentially, like everyone is like a main character in their own world, but they're not aware of it. But Baraya users are essentially above that plot manipulation. Since they can basically kill those people and absorb them. And Makima is basically above those people, since his fist can even kill the top battalion commanders, who are basically the strongest, one of the strongest in the Longinus Thracian order. And basically, his fist, once it punches you, you cannot return since your story ended. And it's not like a game over, it's more of a, your story, the curtains like close, and essentially your story ended. So there's basically no turning, there's like no returning to the fight scene. You're basically just erased beyond, and like there's no concept of existence that's bringing you back.
Why would it really matter though? Because I already explained, like in the previous iterations, they were already like completely erased from like complete story and narrative and all that stuff. Like, and like the player was already able to, bring them back just by playing the game.
Wait, isn't the player
Technically, no, because there is technically like a major difference between, say, the player and, say, like, summons.
What? Can you explain that better?
I pretty much had like a very long whole script thing.
Also, what I'm trying to say is that if Machina like punches you with his fist, Mercury's cannot bring them back. They're like gone forever. Even though whoever like dies in the story, Mercury's can always bring them back. But but when like a Machina punches them, they're basically dead, like erased completely from the narrative, like they're never coming back. Even Mercury's can like bring him back.
I mean, why would that inherently matter? Because, like, in literally one of the Devourer's quotes, he already stated, like the Earth is pretty much completely gone forever. And, like, and when he, like, deleted the Earth, he pretty much deleted everything, including, like, what was it? What was that place? What was that place? Oh, the data bunker. And the thing is, with the data bunker technically contains like the old remnants of the old games that the Devourer also deleted back then. And the old remnants of the game are still technically worlds that the players can still technically travel to. And when that got deleted, like, the entire story and area of those games were completely gone forever. Until, like, you know, the players essentially defeat the boss and pretty much reverse everything that he's done.
But how does that matter? Like
This matters because technically these games, it was within the game, are technically within like their own story, and like the programmers pretty much had to like you know, literally change the software within it to make it actually a workable, functioning game that the players could actually just go inside of. And when like the Earth pretty much got deleted, so did the data bunker. Essentially, all of these games, all of the previous games, game stories were also gone. Which is like the whole reason why like EBF 5 is like considered like the soft reboot. Because the Devourer essentially erased the entire narrative of all 4 prior games and pretty much rewrote everything from scratch in his new iteration.
the player rewrote.
What are you saying?
You said that the Devour like erased the data bunker and like the. I think you said
Well, I meant like the players. I meant like the players, like, you know, Matt, Lance, and not the player that's outside the EBF universe.
Okay, but how does this correlate Lance surviving the Machina's fist? Like, everyone on Earth has like their own history, their own like block manipulation. Mercury can essentially destroy all of it and bring it back effortlessly, but once Machina destroys it with his fist, nothing can come back anymore.
What I'm saying is, like, again, like the prior quotes from like the Devourer, destroying you will leave them no avatars in this universe. I'll defeat you over and over again until they tire of this pointless game. And that quote, and this is like after like the Earth deletion status quote, where in like the Earth deletion status quote, he emphasizes the Earth is essentially gone forever. He's going to completely and utterly completely delete you forever along with the Earth to not come back until the player essentially just stops playing the game. Meaning they're already gone forever, period. But the player pretty much just negate that by continuing playing the game. So Machina's fist pretty much being stated to just delete stuff forever really doesn't mean anything because Lance and like the entire player group had pretty much already came back from stuff that you're technically not supposed to come back because it has the emphasis of it is deleted forever.
But didn't the player like protect them like from stuff? Like
No,
you're
he brings them back by continuing to play the game.
but Mercury literally says that he cannot continue like bringing them back because they're already that Machina's fist ends everything, and that when he kills them, there's no bringing them back anymore. Like it's done. Your story's done with stuff like that, and that continuing is impossible since Machina's fist is the end of all things. Also, I wanted to say, like the whole thing that Lance could like each time he comes back, he becomes more immune to Machina's fist. That I say is that in essentially, Machina can also like adapt to their opponents. Like if their opponents get like stronger and stronger, he can also like grow stronger and stronger. Hello?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. Do you want to go to conclusions?
No. No, I'm not going to conclusions yet.
I mean, I don't think C Justice has a win con yet. Like,
And then let me go on the offensive just yet.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Are you writing something?
I'm still getting stuff.
Okay. What?
Alright. My first
Okay.
win con. Oh, I posted scans. My first win con is that Lance is pretty much going to use the capturing skill on Reinhard and pretty much BFR him and turn him into a summon.
Okay, Reinhard resists BFR.
Was he resisted?
Yeah, he's like resisted like Mercury's BFR. It just didn't work on Reinhard.
I mean, what type of BFR was it really?
It was
Because like my BFR is completely different though. Because the thing is, like with the cage, before it even BFRs you, you pretty much technically just get enslaved. Then it BFRs you.
how does that enslave work?
It technically works on like say the same laws applied that essentially the Devourer's laws are essentially all the game mechanics. Like essentially all the game mechanics technically work and function as laws. So essentially that entire game mechanical explanation is technically a law that you pretty much get enslaved when the cage pretty much drops down on you.
Oh, okay, in that case, Reinhardt just resists it because his law is the supreme and it cannot be topped by any other law.
The thing is, this law isn't like a straightforward type law because this is a law that technically gets empowered by other laws. Essentially, like, all of the game's status effects pretty much add like a score. And pretty much like this score, unlike say like a success or like failure rate, it's essentially like a preparation rate.
Oh, thanks to Reinhardt's Hadogat status, basically any and all laws are basically beneath him and irrelevant to him. So, also wanted to add on is that Pariah users can like manipulate any and all laws, and basically their attacks are beyond laws itself, and Reinhardt's like above them pretty easily, and that it just adds on to basically trying to put on any law on Reinhardt is basically pointless since he's above all laws, and laws are practically meaningless to him in his Hado God state. The link you sent me.
Yes, like this is another boss known as the glitch,
Mm-hmm.
and the glitch is essentially like an error in the Devourer's simulated universe that pretty much gained consciousness and became self-aware. And the glitch, unlike any other enemy, is technically utterly immune to like every single status effect in the game. It is essentially just utterly immune to like all the laws of like all the other status effects because it essentially just completely either negates them or absorbs them, essentially making it like an enemy that's almost near impossible to kill, actually. But despite pretty much all the immunities to all these laws of these status effects, the cage can pretty much still completely bypass that and still capture it.
Okay, to that I say is that Mercury's, and I just remembered, Mercury's was basically trying to like seal Reinhardt by turning him back, like sealing him into a story, like turning him into a normal human, and putting laws on him, and Reinhardt was just easily resisted that.
That's the thing. I'm not inherently like slapping just a new law on you. I'm bypassing your entire immunity to law altogether.
I mean, Mercury's was beyond all laws as well. Basically bypassed Reinhardt's immunity, but Reinhardt was still able to resist it. So, see Justice, I'm sorry if I'm interrupting you, but I sadly don't really have any more time to debate because my parents need me to help their work. So,
I guess we can go to conclusions if you want to wrap this up.
but yeah, that would help.
Yeah, I can go to conclusions.
Okay, I'm also going in conclusions.
Nah, you go first.
Okay, so in conclusion, I think Reinhardt. I think Lance could still fight Reinhardt under Reinhardt's law, but I think Reinhardt just kills Lance with Machina's fist, and I think Reinhardt resists the cage / ceiling thing.
My conclusions, like I still think Lance definitely can still fight under his laws, but would still be able to bypass his immunity with the cage. Yeah, that's all I gotta say.
Okay, now the judges can say what they want.
Alright. Y'all care if I judge?
Yeah.
Alright, sure. So before y'all went to conclusions, this was See Justice last WinCon, right? This was the only WinCon, and then y'all went to conclusions?
Yeah.
Because List had his, you had two at first, and then See Justice countered them, correct? The second one too, and then he moved on to his The thing is, I'd have to give this a tie. Because List, well, yeah, because the way it kind of come down, both of you all had a legitimate way to resist, and y'all are pretty much both on the same kind of like plateau or like, you know, fundamental, type of stuff, you could say. So that's really what I got. It's like it come down to List really didn't have anything else. He had to go. So y'all had to go, but y'all went to conclusions. But List did bring up multiple things that, to me, anyways, it kind of put him in a place where it's kind of like neither one of y'all have a way to really like take each other down. Ultimately, at the end of the day, so I'm about to go with the tie.
All right.
Car, are you still alive? Or are you eating a whole ass sandwich?